So, as I'm sure everybody in the world has told you, oh, just break the crafting table in between stocks. But there's a lot more to it than that, most players will tell you. Yes, breaking the table in between stocks is a good option, but is that the only time you should do it? Well, breaking Steve's table in the right ways could really help you out in winning a lot of games versus Steve. So today, we'll be going over how the proper knowledge of breaking Steve's crafting table can slowly but surely bring Steve's materials lower and lower. Alongside that, we'll go over the table values, some character-specific interactions, when you should and shouldn't break it, and much, much more. So, for starters, let's go over Steve's table values. For those of you who don't know, it costs materials to spawn a crafting table for Steve. That equates to 2 pieces of wood, 4 pieces of stone, or 1 piece of iron, and it will always use the lowest value material first. So, the moment Steve has those materials available, he can craft it. Note how I didn't mention dirt blocks or any of his other materials? That's because those cannot spawn the table. With this, it's also good to remember that Steve's crafting table will take materials both when he spawns it and when it automatically respawns. And this auto respawn is where you can take advantage of it the most. So let's look here. From the moment Steve's crafting table gets broken to where it automatically respawns, it takes about 4 seconds. So when people say just break the table, it's to burn those materials. However, most people, and possibly you watching this, will only break it in between stocks. Now, let's say that Steve is off stage when the crafting table is broken. What happens then? Well, the table will respawn as normal, but will fall off stage. 4 seconds later, after it despawns, it'll spawn a second one. So, when Steve is only on stone-based stages, you're burning about 8 stone per one table broken if it respawns off stage. Remember that 4-second interval? That's what you want to memorize the most, as so long as you can consistently keep Steve off stage, you're burning around 2 wood, 4 stone, or 1 iron each time you get Steve off stage with the table broken. And if he uses minecart, down air, or blocks to stall, then cool, you're burning even more materials now. Once the stock is taken, if your character has a fast enough move in order to break the table in 1 or 2 quick hits, then go for it. However, the moment Steve becomes actionable, stop breaking the table. Tons of players will focus on breaking it so much that they end up getting punished for breaking it, so please just stay safe. Now, advantage state breaks are what people don't do enough. If you happen to hit Steve away from his table far enough and you can't catch up in time to get a good punish, then get at least 1 hit on the table and then keep pushing advantage from there. It doesn't need to be broken every single time, but at the very least deal damage enough to it to make it easier to be broken next time. Consistently doing this throughout the match will burn through more of Steve's materials, making him play at a disadvantage much more often. There will be times where you hit Steve in one direction, but the table is on the other side and it can't be broken. If your character is one that can't edgeguard, then maybe go for it, but most of the time you'll just need to leave it be and push advantage state. It's fine though, there will be more opportunities later. Unless you're Min Min, you can probably just reach across the stage, she kinda just does whatever she wants. Knowing how to abuse table will also make Steve's planking pretty much unviable. When he's mining off stage, he's, well, off stage. If your character has a good destroy that can safely reach downwards like Mega Man or Min Min, then hit Steve out for it. But if not, breaking the table is the #1 thing to do. Remember how Steve will always use the weakest blocks when building? Even though he gets some materials back, his wood and stone are going to be used up sooner since the table is being broken, and since they're going to be used when building, forcing Steve back on stage. Now there are times where Steve may be planking and the table is on the other side of the stage, and if that's the case, then unfortunately you may need to run back and break it. Will it lose stage control? Yes, but it also forces Steve to get back on stage, which is much easier to fight, especially since those materials aren't free anymore. So if you break the table, react and punish properly. The Steve will be losing even more if they keep trying to plank off stage while their crafting table is gone. Now, aside from burning materials, Steve's crafting table allows for some characters to gain extra advantages. Now, a universal advantage is simply extra hits done. Throw out an attack near the table and it's out for a few extra frames, the usual. As for individual characters, we can start off with Bayonetta. Normally when she does a grounded side B, she can do a heel slide and a kick. When that hits her shield, the kick can't be done, which lets us get a really strong punish with forward smash. However, if she slides and hits the table on the way, even if she hits our shield, she will still get the kick, meaning we can't forward smash. With Bayonetta, she can also do ABK onto the table to bounce off of it and deal damage to it. This property is also shared with both Greninja and the Belmonts. Little Mac gets a fun one, as breaking the table nets him more of his KO punch meter. Normally if you break it, you'll get 1 bar, but if you can, then damage the table enough until it's about to break, and then charge up a large smash attack to get 2 bars full. When you're fighting Steve, this is definitely going to be helpful in the long run, as if you need to camp and he's camping you back, then might as well build a KO punch. The same thing also applies to Cloud's Limit, as you dealing damage does charge it up. Now I'm not saying breaking the table is a good replacement for charging Limit, but if you are going to need to break the table regardless, you might as well, you'll still get some limit, and hey, anything helps. Lastly, hitting the table can also let you activate some hitboxes too, including Knee Brawler's Mach Punch, the Shoto special cancels, and even stalling in the air with Sora. Now I'm sure there's plenty more examples, but these were some of the main ones that I could find. And with that done, that about does it for crafting table counterplay. Feel free to share this video with anybody else struggling against Steve, and if you have any other questions, let me know in the comments below. For those people who main Steve and want to know how to use their own crafting table properly, or if you'd like to know more character interactions, check out the video I'll be putting up right here. Anyways, with that out of the way, I hope you all enjoyed.